What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
It's been a pretty hectic few weeks for Shana and I. We've been getting a lot of work done, and the work just keeps coming in, which is good. We've been waiting to be busy. It's nice to be back in this world of this hustle and bustle. One of these nights, we treated ourselves to a night out. One of my brothers had asked us to go out with him, to go to a bar just to get some drinks with him. While I was out there, I ran into a guy from my past. We kind of had beef, a lot of beef. Dude was pretty much straight up disrespectful, disrespecting my family, disrespecting the death of my father. Like, it was bad. I have not seen this guy in like years. Being young and dumb back in those days, I always had the thought like, oh, if I ever see this guy, it's on. I randomly ran into this dude at that bar. Didn't know that he worked there. I just happened to see him, and I wasn't quite sure that was him. But I called out his name, and then he looked at me, and he recognized me right away. Because I had a couple drinks, my brain was on some ratchet shit like, that's him. Let's go talk to this dude and see what dumb shit he gotta say. This dude opens up his mouth, and he's so welcoming and friendly. What's up, dude? I haven't seen you in so long. Just all friendly, all smiles and cheers, giving me a big hug. And my brain's just trying to process. The last time this dude and I had any kind of interaction was when we were at the high school homecoming game about to kill each other. This dude called his redneck brother, and they pulled up to the football game with shotguns waiting for me and my crew to fight them. It was a bad situation. My cousin got harassed by the police. I got harassed by the county sheriff, and they almost arrested me, but luckily one of my old teachers was there to stand up for me. That's how bad it got. That's the last time I saw this dude. Fast forward to present time. Here he is giving me a big hug, just telling me how proud he is of me. Dude, I've been following you on Facebook and Instagram. Man, you were doing big things out in LA. Just telling me everything he knows about my life. I'm still trying to be mad. I'm still trying to be ratchet, right? Like I said, been drinking. My older brother's here. In case something popped off, I had backup to stomp this dude. But he's just so happy to see me and celebrating my life with me. We sat down for a good 45 minutes and just had a nice chat. I walked away feeling so much lighter. In that exchange we had, I finally forgave this dude. We didn't even have to talk about the last incident we had with each other, just his spirit and how we vibed and talked. I forgave him. What kind of asshole would I be to still be mad about something that happened so long ago when we were dumb kids? Yes, I had every right to be mad because I held on to that moment to finally have the confrontation. Oh yeah, I should probably mention that me and this dude were friends. We were friends since 5th grade or something, and then we had this altercation in high school. Being prideful, I never let that go because we're taught to confront people that have these kind of issues with you. But just as a side note, it's not like I think about this guy every day of my life. They're like, ooh, one of these days I'm gonna run into you. Sometimes in conversation, people in my past bring him up or they say things that remind me of the incident. And I'll be like, screw that dude. But it's not like I go home and I write in my diary, when I see this guy, I'm gonna punch him in the dick. No, it's not like that, but you still have those feelings. Anyways, after this exchange, I felt so much lighter and my spirit just felt so free. It's like I could cross this off my laundry list. That incident has really just had me thinking about just the act of forgiveness. Thinking about how much it would better people's lives if they could just forgive and move on. You don't have to forget. You can remember the things that happen, but you can also move on and live life without carrying that burden anymore. My brain took it a step further. I thought about how much happier the cosplay community could be if they would just let shit go. So many of our peers, so many of our friends just have these chips on their shoulders or beef with people they've never met. They just hold on to so many issues for years. For example, they hate certain famous people even though they've never met this person or something this person did had no direct result on them, but yet they hold so much anger in their life. And to me, that's sad. I really feel bad for those kind of people because they don't know how much they're really dampening their own life. So today I want to talk about how people in the cosplay community just gotta let shit go.
So I know this former cosplay photographer who was pretty prominent in the Midwest cosplay scene. I would always see him at conventions and he would always be taking pictures. He pretty much left the con scene because of an incident that happened. Oh, and I know you watch this podcast, and yes, I'm talking about you. You know who you are.
Damn, that's bold, but well, we do here on the Shinobi Squad Podcast.
We keep it real.
We keep it real, even if it's really about you.
There was an incident that finally forced him to leave the con scene. I never really saw him that much anymore after that. Even before the incident, he had issues with like con drama and things of that nature. So he kind of just exited out on his own, even really before the incident. For some reason, he always liked to blame the drama and his issues on the people that party at conventions, like the party scene, the party kids. He also had an issue with the famous people or popular cosplayers and also popular conventions that everybody wanted to go to. But for some reason, this guy can't stay away from the drama. He's always got his nose in something. He always wants to know what's going on.
Every time we do a podcast and it's got some drama-like title, he's there. He's the first one in the room. He's always like, ooh, got my popcorn. And it always just leaves us confused. Like, for someone who left the community because you're tired of the drama, why are you back front row, got VIP seats to the drama show?
Right.
It's like an addiction that he can't break.
Right.
You hate it, but you love hearing about it.
Right.
To go off of what Shana said, I know this person, obviously. They had these feelings for years. They've had this undertone about how they don't like certain aspects of the cosplay community. I get that. You're not supposed to like every aspect, but some things that he was upset about didn't really affect him directly. And that's going to be a common theme that I bring up. Yes, there were popular cosplayers. They lived their life. They got their popularity. They got their fame or whatever. But how does that affect you as a person on the outside? Unless they totally shit on you and be like, make sure this person never comes to this con, and it totally ruined your con experience. That never happened. So just this anger towards the quote-unquote party cosplayers, that was a pretty bold thing to say. I even had a conversation behind the scenes with this person. Like, dude, that's a blanket statement to be like, all cosplayers at party are trouble. Dude, I party at cons. You and I are still friends. So don't I fall into party cosplayers? And then I start naming off people like, well, Shana parties at cons, and we both roomed with you before.
And how does someone partying, how does that affect you personally? I just don't get that. How is someone else's fun affecting you?
Just that hatred for this made-up class of people brewed over the years, along with all the other things. I remember there was a ClassoCon where photographers were kind of going out of control. There was a classic picture of this photographer who had his flash. It wasn't a battery powered. He had this flash plugged in the wall somewhere with extension cords, and he had it in the wade pool. Of course, that was going to make cosplay headline news. Even when it wasn't incidents like that, this individual would still be like, oh, all the cool kids going to ColossalCon this year. And you used to go to ColossalCon. But that hatred for the popular kids or the party kids just stayed with him, that it just made him bitter anytime someone was like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to ColossalCon. But what was funny was, by trying to be woke, by trying to be better than this person going to ColossalCon, you're being the person that you hate.
Right.
You're being the elitist that you bitch about. Oh, these elitist cosplayers think they're better than us. The snarky shit you just said pretty much just painted a picture where you think you're better than the people that go to ColossalCon, so you don't go to ColossalCon. This person was one of the first examples we both got to experience of a person that just held on to their anger to the cosplay community for years, that eventually led them to leave it when some of these issues or some of the things that they were mad about didn't affect them personally. You let this drive you out of a community that you love. This person's been going to cons longer than we even knew about cons.
Before we move on, I just wanted to add in, if this photographer wasn't always spewing negativity about the cosplay community, then I personally feel like his incident would have never happened. These people wouldn't have come for him in that way. And wouldn't shine such a negative light towards him if he didn't project it into the community in the first place.
That's a great point because negativity attracts more negativity.
Yeah.
He kept speaking out against people that weren't even doing anything wrong, for example, just because they party, just because they go to these popular cons, just because they hang out with popular cosplayers. You're building this snowball of negativity. It's going to keep rolling and getting bigger and bigger, and there's going to be more shit stacked on top. At some point, it's going to roll down the hill and be too big and hit the wrong person's car, and they're going to come after you. As much as the incident was kind of messed up on what happened, it came from somewhere. People just don't come out the blue and come after you unless you give them reason to. To me, this seemed like a group effort to where someone was unhappy with the negativity that was being spewed out, and then they just started talking, and they came up with a plan to come after somebody. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of cosplay call-outs go. But there's another person I know who's kind of in a similar boat. I feel if they don't pull back on some of the negativity they have in their heart, they're gonna be right next to this dude in a couple years. This person's just kind of scarred by interactions with certain cosplayers. He too is a cameraman. He unfortunately had to deal with a couple cosplayers who shot with him early on when they were kind of unknown. Then as soon as they got a couple thousand followers, they just didn't want to work with him anymore. He kind of took that personal. He kind of created a narrative in his mind that because they got popular, they became elitist and they were too good to shoot with him. Their follower count grew, but his didn't. That attitude kind of spilled onto everyone who he's worked with that got popular, and he became paranoid of that. That led to putting that same energy onto conventions. Now he went from certain cosplayers were entitled and elitist to this whole convention is like that. Just like the previous story, a convention he came after was ColossalCon. A lot of popular cosplayers go there to get the attention they seek. They know photographers are going to be there. They know videographers are going to be there. He's gone as far as saying, I don't go to ColossalCon because it's all about sex and attention. I'm not down with that. I'm not going to go kiss ass to these cosplayers that think they're the shit. I just don't want to be in that environment, just spewing mad hate. Me on the outside looking at the situation like, well, as a media person, you're kind of missing out on the opportunity to shoot a lot of amazing cosplayers. It's not fair to say all the people that go to ColossalCon are shit, you know? Yes, there's a lot of people who are in bathing suits and they're trying to be sexy, but ColossalCon is a water park con, so what do you expect? You know, they go there because they want to be in these bathing suits. This has been on his mind for years. Every time ColossalCon comes around, it's always, screw ColossalCon. I hate that con. Then he goes out of his way to tell people why he hates it. But why do you have to waste that energy to tell people? If you don't like ColossalCon, don't go. You know, you ain't got to talk about it. I don't like eating at Arby's. I don't talk about how much I don't like eating at Arby's because it's a waste of my time and effort. But year after year, that hatred just brews. And it's like, why do you need to go out of your way to tell people that you hate this con and why you hate it? And then there's a whole rant. ColossalCon has never done anything to you directly. It's not like you went and the con and all the attendees were like, screw you, we don't want you here. But yet it's become personal. As a cosplayer, as a model yourself, if you heard a photographer say that, would you want to work with them?
Not at all. As a cosplayer, I would not want to work with someone like that because if you're always going to be negative about something that has nothing to do with you personally, he might be scarred by those people that he was trying to, you know, take pictures of, but that doesn't mean everybody's like that. So if you're already being a D-bag all over the place, like, why would anyone want to work with you? Because you're pretty much attracting negativity. So why would anyone want to have that around them? And plus, popularity is very subjective. Someone might have a few thousand followers, a handful even, or as much as 10,000 or even 100,000. They're proud of themselves for however many numbers that they have. So is this person going to think that, oh, everyone's just big-headed because they have more followers than you? And if so, it's like, then I'm not going to want to work with someone like that because I don't have that many followers. But they might look at my numbers and be like, well, she's got more than me, so she must be popular. So it's only a matter of time before you turn on me and have something negative to say about me. And one last note to your story, just because he takes pictures of people and he doesn't get any clout or any recognition from the pictures. Like, say he took a picture of, I don't know, someone who's cost famous and he doesn't get any positive feedback from it. It's like, how do you even know you're a good photographer then? It's like, they don't have to work with you if they don't want to, or they don't have to like the pictures you took of them. Just because you took their picture doesn't mean you're going to get anything from it. And maybe you just suck as a photographer. I don't know.
Damn. I've been holding my breath. If y'all didn't watch the video version of this, yeah, I was holding my breath like,
Maybe you have bad technique.
That part. On a non-shit talking point of that, maybe people don't want to work with you because they just don't like your work. That's perfectly fine. Different cosplayers have different standards. So if they don't want to work with you anymore, shouldn't take it personal, because I know I like a certain level of my cosplay photography. I know what I like and don't like. So if someone doesn't deliver it to me when I shoot with them, there's a good chance I'm not going to shoot with them again.
Right.
Taking hallway photos is one thing. If you see me at a con and you pull me aside, like, yo, can I get a picture real quick? Cool. That doesn't mean I'm going to do a whole ass shoot with you. Mm-hmm. Whether it's free or not, I've had my fair share of free photography where I hated all the pictures. I've expressed I don't like the pictures. And the photographer, instead of picking his favorites, he posted the entire album of shit pictures.
Yeah.
Then when I tell them I don't like those pictures, can you take them down? They hit me with this shit. I own the rights to these pictures, so I can do whatever I want. Okay. Okay. Mr. Photographer that won't listen to his clients. All right, cool. Then I own the rights to whatever the hell I want to say about you, and best believe I'm going to make sure people don't work with you. So keep that in mind next time you want to be Mr. Photographer that won't take down pictures when people tell you to. All right, the cosplay community loves hearing about shitty photographers, and they will be quick to destroy you. So if y'all ever want to shoot with me, keep that in mind. Because if I don't like the pictures and you post the entire album, we're going to have problems. All right? I get that some people are still learning, and if we have that understanding and you pick like the best ones you like, I'll let you have that moment. But if I'm like, yo, this album is whack, do not post the whole album. Anyways, so don't take it personal if people don't want to shoot with you again. Because it's not about you. It's just about the quality of your work. And some people want to represent themselves differently.
Right.
That's it. It's just business, yo. It's like you're there to build your portfolio. You're there to build your business in photography. That's the best feedback you can get. If you're doing a good job, then people are going to want to work with you again. Plain and simple.
So there's this guy, this cosplayer, who used to always cosplay as Ichigo from Bleach. This guy always... with a passion, always hated Renji for being more popular than him, because Renji cosplayed as Renji from Bleach. So this cosplayer, we'll just call him Ichigo from now on. Ichigo met Renji at Anime Central 2010. How they met was kind of hilarious, but they were doing a Bleach shoot. Actually, I'm going to let Renji tell this story because he knows it so well.
All right, so I met Ichigo at Anime Central ASIN 2010. We were at the Bleach group shoot. I just showed up, shirtless, airbrush tattoos, minding my business. By this point in my Bleach cosplay career, I already knew I was kind of the shit. First off, I was an Asian dude, super fit, got an 8-pack, muscles popping. I already knew a lot of people liked me, especially the ladies and a few fellas. But I was minding my business. I wasn't on some arrogant shit, even though my catchphrase used to be, bitch, I'm Renji. I am the photo shoot. By 2010, I kind of let that shit die down. Even though I did just go through a very difficult breakup with a long-term girlfriend of 2 years, I was just at the con just trying to be cool. Show up at the Bleach shoot. In the corner, just waiting for them to call out Renji squads for me to come out. Ichigo comes to me behind the scenes, and he's just like, I got this idea. Since you're shirtless, all the Bleach guys should just take off their shirts so we can all be fan service I'm like, cool. If y'all confident like that, then let's do this shit. And then he took it a step further. We should come out together. All right, cool, whatever. I don't care. I'm already shirtless. I'm not even wearing my shirt at this point. So we're talking to all the other Bleach dudes. We're like, okay, when they call us all out, we're going to surprise everybody and just bust out as all shirtless Bleach guys. Mm-hmm. That was the plan. Before that, though, Ichigo wanted to have his shirtless moment with me. So there's a scene in Bleach where Renji fights Ichigo. Mm-hmm. So when they call out that scene, we both stepped out and we were both shirtless, and the fangirl screams could be heard for miles. Everyone's like, oh my God, Renji and Ichigo are shirtless. Ah, like everyone lost their shit because Ichigo was a good-looking, fit guy. Mm-hmm. He had his little six-pack going. Like it seemed like he was working out and he wanted an excuse to be shirtless. So then I kicked it up a notch. I'm like, yo, everyone's going to go crazy if me and you hug on some yaoi shit. Uh-huh. So then we hugged so sensual. And since he's taller than me, I rested my face on his chest and I was just like, oh, yes. And I just rubbed my cheek on his chest, and the fangirls were losing their mind. Like, oh my God, look at Ichigo holding Renji in his chest. Dude, it was more sexual than it needed to be because I hugged him nice and firm, and like I swear my lips were like an inch from touching his nipple. Because that's how sensual I was getting. I was like, oh, you're so warm. Let me rub my face in your chest. But that's what he wanted. He's like, dude, let's give him a moment. So we gave him a moment. I'm secure in my manhood to where I can rub my face on another man's chest and almost kiss his nipple. I was down for the cause. I'm thinking this would solidify our bonds as friends, right? Because I'd seen his pictures around before because the Bleach community, everyone shares their pictures.
This is before the gram, too.
Yeah, this was before Instagram. So I bet some of y'all trying to find these pictures, huh? Unfortunately, the person that took a lot of these pictures deleted their Facebook account, so you may never see these pictures.
Oh, man.
I may have one that I posted, but I have to look for it because I don't know. It's been so long. It's like 11 years ago. Holy shit, it was 11 years ago?
Psst. Check the Bleach folder on his Facebook. It's probably in there somewhere deep.
Wow, yeah, that was 11 years ago. But anyways, that picture went viral for the time. I'm thinking we're cool after this. And then, then all the other guys came out all shirtless and the fangirls went wild because all the Bleach dudes were shirtless. And you would think that would have been a bonding moment, but it wasn't. So let's fast forward to Colossal Con 3 weeks later. Wow, we've just mentioned Colossal Con 3 times now. So
the infamous Colossal Con. And we've mentioned this in the previous podcast before. So me and Ichigo were carpooling to Colossal Con. This was going to be my very first Colossal Con. This was like right before I met Renji for the first time. Around this time, I had only gone to one other out-of-state con. And I was, pretty excited. But I didn't know anyone in the cosplay scene. Like, I didn't really know anyone by name like that. Apparently, Ichigo had known a lot about popular people in the cosplay scene because he had a problem with all of them. But he did. But I didn't know anyone personally. Well, maybe at this convention, I'll finally get to meet somebody. So we're in the car. Mind you, Chicago to Sandusky, Ohio, that's where Colossal Con is. It's roughly like 6 hours, 6.5 maybe. That's a pretty long car ride, especially if you're not used to it. I want to say like 30 minutes into the car ride, Ichigo starts talking about a cosplayer that he really had a problem with. And of course he's saying his name and everything, but I don't know who that is at the time. He starts with, man, there's this one popular Renji cosplayer that, I really can't stand him. Like, he was just saying things like, oh, Renji just thinks his shit don't stink. He just shows up to these photo shoots like he's the god of cosplay and stuff. And like, he just thinks he's just so badass, Excuse me, I'm a cosplayer too, make way for Renji. And I'm just like, okay. Like, by this time, I'm already used to Ichigo talking shit about people because that's just what his MO was. Ichigo was talking so much shit about this one person that I fell asleep in the car ride and woke back up and he was still talking shit. I was like, why are you talking so much shit about one person? And everybody else in the car were just like, all right, okay, we get it. Shut up now.
Get it, you don't like this Renji person.
We crossed so many state lines and Ichigo was steadily talking shit about this cosplayer that he hated so much. And so I'm just like, I wonder who he's even talking about, because I've never met anyone like that. He's talking about how arrogant Renji was and how stuck up he was, and he thinks he's a shit because he takes his shirt off. And he had a real problem with that note. He had such a problem with Renji taking his shirt off and, being the glistening god of cosplay. I'm like, glistening? Okay, so you were paying attention. Yeah, long story short, he was just talking mad shit about a guy named Renji for 6.5 goddamn hours.
Okay, correction. I did not take my shirt off. I never put one on.
Oh, boom.
Boom. Okay, I never even put it on, all right? So not like I showed up and then took it off. I just didn't wear it. I kind of wrapped it around my waist, and at some point, I stopped bringing the shirt part of my costume, and I just showed up shirtless. So I never took my shirt off. I just didn't wear it. But just going back to what Shana said about Classicon, me and Shana did end up meeting due to him being a douchebag and not including Shana in anything that he was doing. So luckily, Shana did show up at the photo shoot because he needed someone to take his pictures. And then me and Shana did meet, but then I kept seeing Shana at the con by herself. So then we started talking. Anyways, long story short, me and Shana hit it off because obviously we're here together.
Everything else is history.
But we'll fast forward to Sunday of the con because Saturday night, Shana ended up staying in my hotel room. Yo, we didn't have sex or anything, all right? We're wholesome people. Nah, it's just I was lame and I couldn't seal the deal. But anyways, we ain't talking about that right now. All right? We ain't talking about how. Anyways,
back to what we were talking about.
Back to what we were talking about. Shana had stayed the night because it was also Tornado Con. So,
yeah.
So for those that don't remember, a tornado had touched down 10 minutes from the con, and people were being put into a shelter. Mm-hmm. But anyways, we'll tell all that story in detail later. The next morning, I was bringing Shana back to her hotel room so she could go home. Mm-hmm. Shana was going to the hotel room first. She didn't let Ichigo know that I was coming up behind her. And I could hear him already talking shit like, how was spending the night with Renji? How big was his dick? So did his dick go bankai and get all long like Renji's sword? Talking mad shit. And I'm coming up literally 20 seconds behind her because I had to lock up the car and duct tape the hood down. Again, long story.
Duct tape the hood.
Anyways, we'll tell you about that one of these days as well. But I had some stuff to deal with the car, so I was a couple seconds behind her. But even in that moment, I could hear the shit he was talking. And then I walked in the door, and he's like, oh. Fixes his tie, even though he wasn't wearing one, so we had to put one on real quick. Like, oh, hey, Renji. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, so we're going to go have pizza after this. You want to come along? On some super fake shit.
Yep.
He was so nice and presentable, and a tie magically appeared so we could tie it on real quick. And I was like, bitch, I heard you. I heard you. And plus, Shana had already kind of told me what he was saying about me. Shana and I started dating a couple weeks later. And then Shana had posted some really lovey-dovey stuff.
I said something along the lines of, I have a new boyfriend. He's so awesome. He's a cosplayer just like me. And he loves Nana, the manga. So I think he's a keeper. And Ichigo was the very first person to comment on my status saying, that's cute and all your long-distance relationship, but let's give it a year and see where you guys are at.
Hater.
Hating ass
From
bitch.
The beginning, just a hater. We made our 3-hour long-distance relationship work. I was living in Michigan. Shana was living in Chicago. We made it work. We would see each other every other week. I would go see her, or she would come and see me. After a couple months, I got a job offer in Chicago, so I moved to Chicago, and we were able to see each other all the time. This dude even invites me to his birthday party.
Yep.
But he was still on that shit talking. Mm-hmm. Even though we just showed that we made the long-distance relationship work, I got a job in Chicago, and he was still talking mad shit, but yet inviting me to his birthday party at some sushi restaurant that had terrible sushi, by the way.
It really did.
It did. Anyways, let's just fast forward through the next couple years. This dude was on some frenemy shit. Even though he didn't like me, he would talk shit about me behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. We were still both in the Bleach community heavy. He always cosplayed Ichigo, and I always cosplayed Renji. Mm-hmm. I had other people in the Bleach community be like, hey, you know Ichigo don't like you, right? And I was told by so many people that I trust. Then it got to the point where he realized I wasn't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. I was still going to be in Shana's life, and I was still going to be a prominent figure in the cosplay community, especially the Bleach community. Mm-hmm. All that hating led him nowhere.
Right.
And then he started feeling stupid because the more shit he talked, the more people would stand up for me. Then he started losing friends because of it.
Oh, yeah.
He started talking so much shit that it put him in an uncomfortable position because he was losing the battle that he started. Mm-hmm. This whole time, I've never clapped back. I never said anything about him publicly. I would just express my opinion when people would come and talk to me about him. I'm like, yeah, I know him, but I don't have beef with him. But
right.
if he has beef with me, then I guess that's on him.
Yep.
Every time I would see him, even throughout the years, I would say hi to him. Though it was petty, I would go out of my way to make sure I was close enough to him where people would take our picture together, and he hated it. There was times where I would repost that iconic moment of me rubbing my face into his chest and tag him, and he would get so mad about it, but he never said shit to me. Long story short, he dug himself such a grave that he felt uncomfortable being at the same events we were both at. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
He stopped going to conventions in Michigan, Chicago, and Indiana. Then he started going to conventions in states I didn't go to, like Iowa and Georgia.
He would go out of his way to Texas, AWA. I think there was one called MTAC.
Yes, and like Tennessee.
Yeah.
They were all states that I've never been to a convention at.
And they were all states that he purposely went out of his way to go to, because I remember asking him one time about it. I'm like, I noticed I don't see you at ACEN anymore or any of the Midwest conventions anymore. I'm like, I've been seeing you go to all these other ones. But then he said, I started going out there because, I have other friends. I have another friend group is what he used to say all the time. Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, that's convenient because you don't have any friends in the Midwest anymore. Of course, you got to have new friends somewhere else.
And what was funny was some of his new friend groups were still my friends from like Ohio, like some of the other Bleach cosplayers. I'm like, oh, I know him. Mm-hmm. They were the ones that snitched on him. They're like, this dude came all the way to Texas to talk shit about you. What did I do to this person? It goes back to the point of this whole podcast. This guy held on to his hatred for me for no reason, honestly.
Right.
For so long that he drove himself out of his local con community.
For one person.
For one person. And it's one of those things, too, that they always tell you, be cordial, don't talk shit about people, because you never know where they're going to end up in life.
Yeah.
And one day, they may affect your life.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I never did anything directly negative to him, it's all the positive things that happened in my life that started making him feel a type of way.
And even his own friend groups in the Midwest loved Renji, like his close friends, the ones that he used to talk shit to or vent to about Renji. They all loved him and they all wanted to take his picture. Matter of fact, the very first time I met Renji, I had taken a picture for one of his close friends that was like fangirling about Renji in the background, and she was too scared to take his picture herself. So that was my very first encounter with Renji in the first place, taking a picture for one of his friends. Yeah. So if that goes to show you anything.
Dude dug his own grave. Not to be arrogant or anything, but during that era, I quickly became the king of cosplay in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. I was well known at all the local cons. I was throwing parties. I was doing so much that cosplayers were not doing in Chicago, Indiana, Michigan at the time. I was guesting at cons. I was doing shit before Cos Famous was a thing. Mm-hmm. As that started happening for me, he started seeing it and he started realizing where he messed up. He was like, shit, I started a war with Rambo. I can't win this. So then he just disappeared.
He started seeing your name in all the program books, like, God dang it.
I think that was one of the last straws of when I started guesting at cons he used to go to, and that's why he completely left.
Oh, yeah.
Fast forward to 2021, even though he lives in the Chicago burbs, I have never seen him since. He completely fell off the map when it came to Midwest conventions. I don't see him in anybody's pictures. He's gone. It's because he couldn't let shit go. Whatever beef he made up with me, he just could not let go, and he held on to it for whatever reason, because he was stubborn, he was prideful, but it drove him out of his own cosplay community. And that is just the dumbest shit I've ever heard anyone do. But that's what happens when you hold this negativity in your heart to where you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like you just pretty much alienated yourself and exiled yourself from your own community. And one last note about him. Him talking shit about somebody on a car ride to a convention is pretty much what he used to do anyway. And once again, I never knew who he was talking to until I met that person and found out how great they were. And then, I just kind of looked at him like, there's something really wrong with you. And this happened at another Ohio convention. We were on our way, again, 6.5 hours to Ohio. He was talking mad shit about another cosplayer that was the sweetest person, by the way, when I finally met that person. And I'm like, wait, you're talking about this person? What? You're not making any sense. And so he did it again, like when we went to ColossalCon. So that's just how he was, though. He pretty much just dug his own graves wherever he went. So it's his own fault.
Anyways, good riddance to Ichigo.
Bye.
Bye. You weren't that great of a main character on Bleach anyway, so bye. Should have been the Renji show on Bleach. Of course, we can't talk about the cosplay community letting go of hate without talking about some of the GOATs. I'm talking about Yaya Han. I'm talking about Jessica Nigri. I'm talking about all the OG famous people that paved the way for cosplayers to even make money these days.
Yup.
It's fair to say anytime Yaya Han's name is mentioned in a conversation, Jessica Nigri's name is mentioned in a conversation, somebody feels a type of way. There's always somebody that likes to slip in there, I hate Yaya Han, screw Jessica Nigri. Someone in every comment thread always has to slip in that opinion. After all these years, it's very concerning to be like, why do you still have so much hatred for these people that did nothing to you personally?
Oh, there's an endless amount of reasons. For instance, the cost fame. Making money off of cosplay, capitalizing off of cosplay, sexy costumes, the rumors, being on reality shows, having a fabric line. You can name pretty much anything this person has done. Anything on their resume is a problem and a reason for people to hate said person.
Yeah, so let's get into that. Let's go back in time. Let's jump in a time machine. Let's go back to 2010. Cos fame was not a term. It was not a thing. Though there were cos famous people, Yaya being one of them. I know people personally still to this day who in 2010 didn't like Yaya just because she was popular, just because she was doing sexy cosplays. Same with Jessica. When Jessica came on the scene with Sexy Pikachu. Ever since then, these two names were notorious for ruining cosplay. And that always just kind of like struck me the wrong way. Like, you're mad at these people because they're popular or they're making money or they're doing like sexy characters. But how does that affect you, first off?
Right.
Looking at her resume, looking at what she's done, I didn't get it. Like, okay, so y'all mad because she found a little success in this world? These people that were mad, that was it. That was their main reason. Oh, she's capitalizing off of cosplay. This is a hobby, and they shouldn't do that. And then, of course, it expanded to she's making money. She's selling sexiness in the cosplay community. That's wrong. People held on to that. When Jessica Nigri came on the scene, people said the same shit. Jessica's just sexualizing the cosplay community, and that's not right. She shouldn't be making money off of that. I get those concerns back in those days. It wasn't mainstream yet. People weren't coming out as being hot cosplayers. So I try to justify it. A lot of people in the cosplay community are hardcore nerds. So it makes sense why they would feel a type of way when someone comes in their scene and just exploits sexuality, because that takes away from their experience and whatnot. Fast forward to the day. Some of these people still hating on these same cosplayers for the exact same reason 10 years ago. Cosplay culture has evolved. There's so many other cosplayers doing the exact same thing. Yaya and Jessica laid the groundwork for other cosplayers to make money. Yet these people are only mad at just Yaya and Jessica. But they're not mad at all these new people doing exactly the same things they were doing that they were mad about back then.
So many of these people have friends who are also capitalizing off of cosplay and even sexy cosplay, but those same people aren't mad at their friends for doing it. They're still mad at Jessica and Yaya for doing it. And they've been mad for 5+ years. They're not mad at their friends for selling their prints or even doing OnlyFans, but they're still mad at Yaya and Jessica for making a living off of what they do for 5+ years and maybe even longer than that.
That's where I have a problem with a lot of this. It'd be one thing if you just felt a type of way because it changed the culture you love. But some of these people have friends or they're doing the same shit themselves. Yaya and Jessica and these OG Cos famous people paved the way for not only their friends, but themselves to capitalize. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, though, anytime those names are mentioned in conversation, it triggers an emotion. Like, nah, I hate them. The sad thing is, they've been hating on certain Cos famous people for so long that they forgot why they hated on them. Mm-hmm. A lot of them forgot that they originally had a problem with these Cos famous people because they were monetizing cosplay. Mm-hmm. Fast forward to recent times, they're monetizing cosplay as well, whether it be selling prints, whether it be OnlyFans. It's so sad to me that some of these people are so blinded by hate that they're instantly triggered. Because if they're really logical about it, you're mad that these cosplayers monetize cosplay, but yet here you are now with your own OnlyFans, selling prints, trying to make money off of cosplay any way you can.
Right.
You're doing exactly the same things you got mad at these people before you were doing. Mm-hmm. But you're so blinded by hate, you don't realize that. Mm-hmm. Because you want to hold on to this made-up grudge you have with these people. But you're doing exactly the same things you were mad at them about, but you won't let that go.
Right.
That's one of the biggest problems I see with all this in the cosplay community. Some of y'all just need to finally learn to forgive and move on.
Mm-hmm. Don't get us wrong. We don't mean like if someone actually did something to you or hurt you in any way or wronged you in any way. We don't mean that. We mean get over the people that you've never even met. This person has never crossed you in any certain way at all. You're just mad to be mad at that person. You need to let that shit go. Especially if this person, you've never met them. Like, that's the thing I can't stand is when someone's never met a person that they hate so much. It's like, then what are you really mad about? You should be mad at your damn self for being mad at someone that has never done anything to you. Don't let anybody poison your spirit. Holding on to something negative is just a waste of energy, in my opinion.
You're setting yourself up for failure. You're going out of your way to remember, I hate this person. I hate this person. Now you have to worry about, when am I going to see them again?
Right.
Like the Ichigo guy. He worried about when he was going to see me for so long that he just stopped going to his local conventions because he didn't want to see me. That is so dumb for you to waste that much energy in your life to worry about me and when you're going to see me. That's what happens when you hold on to hate. You're just wasting thought, energy, and time.
Oh, yeah.
If I never wronged you, like I never wronged Ichigo, he could have just been like, whatever, I'm good. Let's move on. If you really truly have an issue with someone, handle that shit.
Oh, yeah.
One quick example. When I was throwing parties in Chicago, there was one individual that really felt the type of way because I secured an exclusive contract with a venue. Mm-hmm. My deal was, I will throw cosplay parties at your venue if I have the exclusive rights to throw cosplay parties. No one else can. This guy was mad because he wanted to throw cosplay parties. Long story short, he started a whole vendetta against me. Mm-hmm. He gathered up promoters and DJs for everyone to come after little old Renji for one venue in Chicago. They had secret meetings about me, and they were like, Renji's monopolizing the cosplay party industry in Chicago. No. I had an exclusive contract with one venue. That's just called good business, homie. That's called good business that you weren't ready to handle. Yes, I locked in a deal to make sure nobody knocked me out of my top spot, but that's called experience and good business that you know nothing about because I've been throwing parties way before you met me, bro. But anyways, I shouldn't be talking that shit because we moved past that, but still. But that was the attitude that was going on. Finally, there was a moment for me to squash this shit because I got tired of hearing the whispers. Me and this dude were friends. So finally, one of our mutual friends had a birthday party, and I knew he was going to be there. And I'm like, I'm showing up. I'll be the bigger person, and I'll squash this. I didn't even told my boy, I'm coming to your birthday party, but your boy has a problem with me, so I'm going to confront him. So don't be surprised if he gets uncomfortable. I did exactly everything I said I was going to do. I showed up, said hi to everybody, and the first thing I did was address this dude. He knew I was coming because my boy warned him, and I was just like, yo, me and you are friends. I've never had a problem with you. So if you have a problem with me, it's your time to say it. I'm going to speak my piece. Me landing this deal with this venue was never anything personal to anybody.
Right.
I'm a business person. I promote and organize parties. This is what I do. So I wanted to lock in the best deal for myself. I didn't even know you wanted to do this. So I've spoke my piece.
Right.
I even talked to the venue owner about you. I was like, I can vouch for this dude. If he wants to do any other kind of party, I'm cool with. When it comes to cosplay parties, that's my shit. So if he wants to do a D&D party, if he wants to do a drink shitty beer and smash cans in your head party, I'm cool with that. I know he's in the cosplay community, but my deal is no cosplay parties from anyone else besides me, or else I'm walking from this venue.
Right.
And I was making this venue a lot of money, by the way. Parties I threw at this venue made this place more money in one night than they made the entire month. So that's why I had to kind of talk to this dude. It was never anything about you.
Right.
I'm disappointed that you came at me. So the ball's in your court. After hearing that, he finally chilled out and it was like, yeah, I was just kind of frustrated that you beat me to the punch. Right there, he exposed himself that he was just on some hating ass shit, that he was mad that I locked this down before he did. And he declared this war against me for no reason. But from that moment on, we squashed our beef and we were cool. If you got a problem with someone, address that shit.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to let it linger. That was the first time I saw that dude in over a year, ever since he started his war with me. And so I'm glad I did address him because I was tired of that shit. Because I wanted to at least speak my piece so the world could know that it's not on me, it's on him. And there were witnesses there to see that Renji checked this dude and this is what happened. So after that, we were good. His girlfriend came and gave me a hug and we took selfies and shit. We're cool with Renji now. So apparently they've been talking shit about me on their social media to where they had to say we're cool all of a sudden, but I didn't care. Because long story short, they don't exist in the con community anymore either, so...
And have never thrown their own party, even after we left to go live in LA for 6.5 years. In 6.5 years, they didn't even have a birthday party. So I just want to know what all of that stink was even about. But you know what? Since I'm a bigger person, I'm not going to ask those questions. I forgive you.
That part. And there was a whole Avengers crew of people that were trying to knock me off my cosplay party scene in Chicago.
Yep.
And I was gone for 6.5 years, and not one of them stepped up and
Not
did
one.
shit.
Nope.
So sorry, I'm going to take this moment to talk my shit because I need to give credit to myself where credit is due. Bitch, I became the king of cosplay in the Midwest for a reason, and y'all thought y'all was just going to, like, sit on my throne when I was gone? Ooh.
I'm going to sip my tea on that one.
Bitch, if I was Khaleesi, even Jon Snow couldn't ruin my season finale.
Oh, shit.
All right, so check that, Game of Thrones people. Jon Snow couldn't have even rewrote history. That's the petty shit that people be on, you know. They just hold on to this for no reason. Just like Ichigo, this dude dug himself a hole too. He tried to get so many people to come against me, and he shot himself in the foot because these people are still loyal to me. That's how I even knew that this dude was on that bullshit, because people sent me screenshots and they snitched on him, because there's a difference between I'm thinking about doing this, I'm thinking about throwing parties, and Renji's throwing parties and cutting paychecks to people. So unfortunately, a lot of the people he was talking shit to were on my payroll, and they were just like, Renji's paid us. You're only thinking about throwing a party while Renji has paid us multiple times. Before you go on this crusade of hatred, think about who you're trying to hate against.
Be careful, because you never know. if you're going to be on their payroll one day.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful who you talk shit to and who you talk shit about.
Yeah.
That's just bad business.
It is bad business. Why would you? Anyways, so
Bygones.
we'll bring it back to what this podcast is about. People in the cosplay community just need to learn to let shit go.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive, forget, move on with your life. If the people you're angry at never directly wronged you, why are you mad at them?
Mm-hmm.
Let them live their life. Just because someone's successful, what they eat doesn't make you shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if these people, these famous people, these whoever's are doing their thing, their fans don't mess with you anyway. They
Right.
don't know who you are. So it's not like they're taking money out of your hands, taking opportunities away from you. If anything, you should be grateful that there's people before you paving the way.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you know you can make money off of OnlyFans? Because someone else made money off of sexualizing cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. How do you know you can sell prints? Because someone before you sold prints. You're welcome. How do you know that you can make money Twitch streaming? Because someone else in the cosplay community made money Twitch streaming. You're welcome.
That part.
How do you know you can guest at cons? Because someone in your community was a guest at a con and they sold prints and made money. You're freaking welcome.
Damn.
So reprogram how you think. Instead of hating, start getting inspired by the people before you because they're doing the hard work. Imagine the first person that reached out to a con and was like, I know I'm not a voice actor. I know I'm not an artist, but I'm a cosplayer and I have this many followers. So can you spend money on me being a guest so I can bring my fans to your event? You know how awkward that original conversation had to be? But because someone did that, you and your friends can do that now because they normalized it.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that shit when you mad about someone else doing something before you. And to go back to my photographer friends at the beginning of the podcast, y'all mad that popular cosplayers don't want to talk to you anymore. But don't forget, popular cosplayers are what put cosplay photography and videography on the map. So if these people that didn't have followings didn't put your work on display, then your work wouldn't mean shit right now.
Exactly.
It's like this symbiotic relationship. We need each other.
Right.
Everyone is working together to make the most of this community.
Mm-hmm. And the same people complaining about others making money off of cosplay, especially if you're a photographer, you know you could be getting a piece of this pie, but you already exited yourself out of the community. So that means you don't want a piece of the pie. So then what are you really mad about? You ain't getting money anyway. So why are you mad someone else is getting money?
Mm-hmm.
You could very well be on that same playing field, but you decided that you were going to be mad about it instead of getting it yourself. Because you very well could, but hey, you make your own choices, right?
Mm-hmm. Because speaking on that photography money tip, I know cosplay photographers who will hit up a con like KatsuCon and pull $1,500, $2,000 in a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of hating, why don't you think about how you can get them racks and step your game up?
If you can't beat them, join them.
Or I know a cosplay photographer who is on call for another cosplayer. When this cosplayer goes to Hawaii and they want pictures taken in Hawaii, this photographer gets a round trip for free and gets paid.
They get flued out.
Flued out, city girls. When she wants to shoot pictures in New Zealand, this photographer gets flued out to New Zealand for free and gets paid. So instead of hating, figure out how you can get to that level.
Yep.
People paving the way and creating opportunities for you. And that's what just gets on my nerves about people in the cosplay community getting mad at others creating opportunities for the future generation of people in the community.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. I'm going to leave y'all with some Avatar: The Last Airbender quotes that have really carried me through some difficult times in my life. The first one is from Avatar Aang. It's easy to do nothing, but it's hard to forgive. Mm-hmm. He was saying this in regards to Fire Lord Ozai. Mm-hmm. He wanted to make a point to where everyone deserves a second chance. Mm-hmm. And the easy thing to do is just to be angry and just kill the Fire Lord and call it a day. He also said another quote along the same lines of, I need to believe that everyone is capable of great good and great evil, even the Fire Nation. Mm-hmm. So even though the Fire Nation was doing evil things, they're capable of also doing good. And that shit just always had me thinking like, damn, he's right. It is easy just to be mad at people and just walk away. It takes a bigger person to forgive someone for their mistakes and to help them grow. And as he said about the Fire Nation, we all can do good and we all can do bad. And we all know that. So why are we so quick to judge someone and think that they can't do better? Mm-hmm. The next quote comes from Uncle Iroh, probably the most wisest man in animated history. Uncle Iroh turns to Zuko and he says this: "It's time for you to look inward and start asking yourself the big question. Who are you and what do you want?" Uncle Iroh was pretty much asking Zuko, who's the person you want to be? Stop thinking about who you were. Stop being stuck in the past. Mm-hmm. You have a chance to be whoever you want. Mm-hmm. So I ask you guys, who are you? A stubborn person that's determined to stay angry and full of hate? And what do you want? You want to waste your energy on things that don't affect you directly? That's a question you can answer for yourself. But me, I'm Renji. I'm a person that has learned the art of forgiveness. All I want is peace and balance in my life. And forgiveness is one way I achieve it. So ask yourself those same questions. Who are you and what do you want?
I'm someone who strives to be a better person every single day. I am not the same person I used to be even a year ago. I have strived even over the last few months to be different and to be more positive and to be a better person at the end of the day. Because after everything is all said and done, the thing you have to deal with is yourself and these negative thoughts and these negative emotions. That falls back on you, because the person that you hate will never know that you hate them until you confront them for some reason. But like, if you're just holding inside, they're never going to know that you hate them. So what are you hating them for? There's no purpose behind it. So that's why we say, if you do have a problem with somebody, it's better to just let them know so that you can feel better, because that releases a part of yourself that's not holding on to anything bad anymore, so that you can move on and have a better day and a better life. And that's who I am. That's who I strive to be all the time. Because I always, no one's perfect. You find yourself slipping every once in a while, but you can come back from that. You can always come back from it. No matter how long you've hated Yaya Han or Jessica Nigri, like, you can stop that today if you want to. But that goes back to who you want to be.
The person you were doesn't have to determine the person you are today. Mm-hmm. You can stop living in the past and start becoming who you want to be.
Because the past doesn't change, and the future is what you make it. You can't change anything that happened in the past, but you can change how you go about things in the future, and that's going to make you a better person.
All right, y'all. I know that was a lot of fortune cookie Uncle Iroh wisdom, but that's the shit that's been on my mind lately, and I just wanted to share it with y'all. It's helped me get through life. It's helped me become a better person. I hope it can help y'all as well. Hopefully, it can also help the cosplay community become a better place, because let's just be honest, a lot of us in the cosplay community are petty as shit, and sometimes someone just needs to slap you in the face, kick you in the balls, and be like, stop being a little hoe and be better, all right? So that's my slap to your face to the cosplay community as a whole. Not saying you individually, unless you the hoe that needs to get slapped in the face. Sometimes y'all just need to check yourself. I wouldn't be who I am if my close friends didn't check me, if Shana didn't check me on a weekly basis, because sometimes you get caught in your own emotions and your own dumb shit that someone needs to check you. So take this as you getting checked to do better, because we all can do better. Let's not go on that road like, I'm good. No. I'm sure there's something in your life that needs to get checked. So check it so you can do better. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Side note, I just realized you're wearing an Avatar shirt after all that Avatar talk. I pulled a Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. I was thinking about something else.
Yes, I'm glad you pointed that out. I have a lot of Avatar shirts, and I'm actually going to turn one of the rooms into an Avatar room, because I've learned so many lessons from Avatar alone. And
who introduced you to the Avatar show?
Shana.
Hey, okay.
Shana. But even without Avatar, some of y'all that know me in real life, I've been a Buddhist monk twice in my life now. Avatar Aang's journey means so much to me because I've been there. I've lived you're the chosen one of the family life. And I've been with monks and I've studied with monks. So yeah, like Avatar Aang will always have my heart. The lessons I've learned from them and just even the Buddhist monasteries in general, like I want to share with y'all. Y'all don't have to be religious to understand forgiveness. None of this shit is telling y'all to go to church and give money to airbenders on a Sunday afternoon or anything. But I just want y'all to just understand the power of forgiveness and the power of moving on so you can have a free spirit and a free mind to walk with more balance in your life. Anyways, y'all, if y'all liked my sermon and everything I'm preaching, make sure you follow Shana on OnlyFans and unlock some of her sets. And, spend some money on Shana on OnlyFans. So,
The collection plate.
The digital collection plate. I hope y'all really learned something because, like, learning forgiveness in my life was one of the biggest things that just set me free. I used to be a very angry young individual for the longest time. I've had so many hardships and tragedies in my life that it was easy to be angry.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't until my father died. That was the biggest hardship that I ever had in my life. But it opened up my eyes to teach me about peace and balance and forgiveness. And one of these days, I'll tell you the true story of why my dad's no longer here. But it was the biggest moment in my life. You know, it's like I could have been angry, but I wasn't. So it helped me become who I am today. Sorry, y'all. I know I got super deep in the last minute. Quick plug, we will be at RamenCon in South Bend, Indiana. We're guests, just in case y'all missed that announcement a couple episodes ago. Got some parties coming up in the Chicago area, so make sure you follow social media to see what events I'm about to throw. If y'all ain't never been to a fan service Renji cosplay party, then y'all missing out. Shana got some fashion coming up. We got all kinds of new cosplays rolling out, so make sure y'all check all this shit out on social media. Make sure y'all show some love to the Shang-Chi cosplay that
Show it.
Shana crafted. We mentioned it last week, but Shang-Chi, the movie, still isn't out yet. So let's keep making Shang-Chi a thing.
Yes.
Because we work so hard on that shit. And also, Shang-Chi is the first Asian Marvel Cinematic Universe hero, so representation matters. So make sure y'all go and see that movie. Make sure that's a success. And y'all can help build the hype by sharing my cosplay as Shang-Chi. So, all right, guys, enough self-promotion. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm Fan Service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.